And chat. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Root Double Before Crime After Days. One sec, catching up on chat. Yeah, I'm excited for Persona 3 Reload too. That's going to be a very interesting experience. I played the very start of it back in 2014, but my streaming computer imploded and I never picked it back up. So, you'll get a mostly blind experience from me when it releases next month. Except for the big spoiler at the end, which I'm so sad that I am spoiled on. Anyway, let's continue. Factory. The group opened the security gate and went through the connecting passageway. The Procyon's alarm didn't go off, meaning they didn't have to worry about radiation here. And when they cleared the passageway, they found themselves face to face with a bizarre room, which has been completely blown apart by fire. There's a forklift. What is this place for? They found themselves face to face with a bizarre room. Watase was speechless at the sight he was staring at. The room was more like something out of a factory instead of a research facility. Large machines, forklifts, cranes, and mountains of materials were lined up. The ceiling was also much higher than it was in the other areas. It appeared that the room covered both B1 and B2. A catwalk surrounded the B1 area and encircled the entire floor. What the hell is this place? This is the development block, nicknamed the Factory. This is my first time here too, but I never imagined the damage would be this bad. The machines there had been burned to hell and back, just as Ukita said. The ladder leading up to the catwalks has been warped horribly, leaving them unreachable. Looks like the fire here was really bad, just as Watase muttered that. Uh-oh. Something that looked like sand fell down from the ceiling. It looks like the ceiling's collapsing too, doesn't it? Be careful, everyone. It's still a bit dangerous. A bit? It's a lot dangerous. June then checked her Procyon. The reading is 3711 MSV. Still within the safety standard. Yeah, barely. Now then, this factory is quite big, and it appears to be in complete shambles, so why don't we split into teams of 2 and 4? And save. Okay. You need to pick one of them. Okay. In that case, let's pick June. See how that goes. I like June. The team of 4 will search the factory, while the team of 2 will search the inner ring. No one offered any objections to that proposal. Okay, then I'll take care of the search of the inner ring. Watase then thought about who he should pair up with. Moribe, will you join me? Sounds nice. Don't change what ain't broken, right? Then please, leave the search of the factory to us. Okay, let's get to searching, people. Roger. I wonder how many of them are going to be dead when I get back. With Watase's command as the trigger, the group split up into their teams. Watase and June first entered B2 of the inner ring. Those kids should be in this area, right? Yeah, I'm sure of it. What's the map button? N. We are in Area 6. Thought so. Okay. Alright, so there's not that many rooms in Area 6. Alright. We're almost done exploring the facility. And we've got 6 in-game hours to go. Yeah, I'm sure of it. After that brief exchange, the two of them checked all the rooms in a hurry. All the while believing they'd find the survivors in one of them. Well, if they've got a Tier 6 keycard, maybe they went through Area 1 again. However, their search yielded no results. They're not here? No. Hold on, let's check B1. They then headed in the direction of the stairwell. But the inner ring's emergency staircase was unusable. The part on B1 was intact, but everything below it had crumbled, leaving it impossible to climb. I'm guessing we're going to need to take one of the rickety ladders in the factory. Not again. What about the other stairwell? There were 2, right? No, there's just the one. And an elevator, which is offline. Depending on where the elevator is, maybe we can climb up the ladder in the elevator shaft? Okay, we're connected to Area 1. We can use... if we can get into Area 1, we can use the ladder... Not the ladder, the stairwell... in the Area 1 inner ring to get up to B1 and then come back through into Area 6. Not again. Boy, this is the pits. The factory's basically 2 floors in 1 room, so this is the only staircase. Should we use the elevator shaft again? No, wait, is there any way we can get up? It was at that moment that Watase remembered what he had with him. The 10-meter rope he'd been carrying around this whole time. I think we'll be able to get up with this. Watase calmly picked up some debris and tied the end of the rope to it. He then tossed the rope up and it caught on the B1 staircase. There's nothing it can really catch on. He tugged it several times to test its strength, but it appeared that the rope was firmly secure. Good, we can do this. Nice one. Okay, first one to the top wins. That would be the first one to grab the rope, June. Hey, how are we supposed to race each other when there's only 1 rope? Just climb normally. Oh, come on, you're such a killjoy. The 2 of them climbed the rope as they smiled at their playful exchange. The 2 of them then left the rope where it was. That way, they could use it again when they had to go back down, and there was a chance they might need to climb back up anyway. Okay then, let's move on with the search. This is the only other block we haven't explored yet. Yeah! The 2 of them then started searching the floor in high spirits. The first room they went to appeared to not have been touched by the fire at all. June shouted as soon as she walked in. Hey, isn't that a Procyon? Huh? Watase looked closer to find a familiar device was lying in a corner of the room. Well, now we have 3! What's something like this doing here? It's not that surprising. Labo was the one who gave us the Procyons in the first place, after all. Oh, right. Anyway, this is a pretty good find. Yep, now we can split into 3 teams. They didn't know if the need for that would ever arise, but the 2 of them decided to take it, just to be safe. They looked around to see if there was anything else worth taking with them. Though they didn't find any AD, there was a bound stack of papers on the table that Watase took interest in. Huh? Disaster Prevention Manual? Isn't that the thing Yuri found a while back? No, it's a bit different. This one says, for Area 5 and 6 staff. Ooh, let's get some details. Watase and June stood together to read the manual. Most of it was more or less the same as the one Yuri had shown them, but there was a new page at the very end not present in the other manual. Disaster Prevention Manual, 2030 edition, for Area 5 and 6 staff, regarding emergency evacuation routes. In the event of a fire, earthquake, or other such disasters, the elevators will automatically ascend to the surface floors and stay there. This is because there is a risk that the elevators could stop while in operation due to an unpredictable shock, therefore trapping their passengers. Please use the emergency staircases located in each block to evacuate. However, Area 6's outer ring does not have any emergency staircases due to security risks in the facility's structure. Therefore, all staff should evacuate through the inner ring, but if a situation arises where that becomes too difficult, please evacuate through the cargo lift. Ooh. Regarding usage of cargo lift for evacuation. Unlike the normal elevators, the cargo lift is extremely sturdy. In theory, it should be able to resist even magnitude 7 earthquakes and have very little risk of stopping. Therefore, all staff members are granted temporary permission to use the lift to evacuate during a crisis. Please use it to promptly evacuate to the surface. The same rights will also be granted in the event of Case N. Should evacuation of the facility become impossible due to the bulkhead lockdown, the cargo lift can be used to evacuate to a safe zone in the surface floors. A safe zone in the surface floors. Okay, that sounds like a good way to escape. A cargo lift. The two of them started trembling when they read that passage. Evacuate to a safe zone? Does that mean that there's a way for us to escape to the surface, even in this situation? Watase and June looked at each other. They were both grinning from ear to ear. After being trapped in the basement all this time, they'd finally found the clue they needed about the one escape route that still worked. Does this mean we're going to be able to explore the first floor, or is that how we're going to get out? But where the heck is it? It might be somewhere in that burnt-to-hell factory, though I didn't notice anything earlier. But we need to look for the survivors first. Locating an escape route means nothing if we don't find them. Damn right. Watase shoved the manual into his pocket and ran out of the room. No, we could get the civilians. Well, I guess we're all civilians. We could get the non-rescue people out and then come back and look for the kids. Watase shoved the manual into his pocket and ran out of the room. However, in the end, they went through all the rooms, yet found no hide nor hair of the survivors or any AD. Let's check the connecting passageway. We can't leave any stone unturned. The two of them headed for the connecting passageway that led to the factory. Well, but the passageway was blocked by debris further in, so they couldn't travel past that. What about the one on B2? The only thing up ahead was the factory, meaning that they'd completed their search of the inner ring. Oh, right, that's the passageway from inner ring to outer ring, not from Area 6 to Area 1. June frowned in puzzlement as they turned around. That's odd. We didn't find Natsuhiko or anybody else here. Maybe they found the cargo lift. Yeah, I agree, but maybe they're in the factory. Then let's go back and help the other team with their search. Yeah, or maybe they... But before Watase could say any more, he suddenly heard a sound at his feet. That was a squelching noise. What was that? Both of them looked down in surprise and found that there were cracks where June was standing. Oh no. The floor's giving way. Just as Watase thought that, time slowed down for him. He was seeing everything in slow motion. Tackle her out of the way. June tried to jump back at once, but the floor at her feet collapsed right then. Ah! Moribe! Watase shot his hand out as fast as lightning and grabbed June's arm. Pain ran through his cracked ribs instantly. Ugh! But he put up with it and grasped June's arm tightly. Dust blew up from the crumbled floor, but it soon began to clear up. Revealing June's face on the other side. Phew! That sure was a close call, wasn't it? Pull her up! Captain, incredible! It all happened so fast that I couldn't react, but you... Well, I thought it looked dangerous, that's all. Still, I nearly had a heart attack there. I didn't think the floor would just collapse so suddenly like that. Yeah, that was scary. It must have been your weight that broke the passageway. Oh, are you gonna call the lady heavy, or are we gonna have a shut up about my weight moment? Yeah, we are. Hey, were you born with no manners at all? That's not something you tell a lady. Hello, why is June being pulled from certain doom while the floor collapsed beneath her? I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. I promise. I'm gonna pull you up now, so give me your hand. Roger Dodger. Watase grabbed June's other hand and pulled her up. Well, we're not getting through that way. You're not hurt, are you? Nope, not physically. My heart's been horribly wounded, no thanks to someone. That's good, but still. Watase looked at the now partially collapsed passageway. I guess Area 6 got damaged really badly by that fire. Yeah, I hope the others are okay. Let's get back to them and make sure. The two of them nodded at each other, then ran through the passageway together. The team climbed down the rope at the staircase and returned to the factory on B2. Let's take a look at the map. It doesn't show the destroyed passageway. Only to find the others running towards them. Captain, did something happen? We heard this strange thump. Oh, it was no big deal, just a connecting passageway collapsing, that's all. Anyway, did you guys find the survivors? Unfortunately, no. We made sure to leave no stone unturned, but we found not even a trace of the survivors. You know, I probably chose correctly when I picked June, because Kazumi and Eda are larger than her, and I might have dropped them. Did you find anyone in the inner ring? No, no one on our end either. The group had already finished exploring all the areas in Labo, but they hadn't found the survivors anywhere, not even any bodies of them. Then I guess there's no doubt about it. Huh? They already escaped through the cargo lift. Oh yeah, of course. That makes total sense. Kazumi and the others looked confused at Watase's proclamation. Cargo lift? What do you mean? It looks like there's a lift in the factory we can use to escape to the surface. Here, take a look at this. Watase said that and showed the disaster prevention manual he'd found earlier to the others. I see. I never knew we had something like that. Yes, it's possible to get out this way. Right. So did any of you guys find anything that looked like a lift in the factory? No, we did not. But perhaps that's what that was. Kazumi turned around and looked at a corner of the factory. She was staring at the farthest wall from them, where, for some reason, a security gate stood. What's a security gate doing in a random place like that? We found it strange as well. It didn't seem to fit with everything else, so we investigated it, but we couldn't get in because the security slot was burned in the fire, so we gave up on searching it. But past that gate is the only part of the factory we haven't searched yet. If there really is a cargo lift, then it must be there. Okay, so Maybe we get the rope back. No, the rope is good and tight in the stairwell. We can't really use the rope to get up to the catwalk above. The whole group was all smiles. They only had 6 AD, but if they managed to escape, then they wouldn't need them anymore. Their journey full of hardships was finally coming to an end. Alright, then let's find a way to open that gate. Couldn't we use the air ducts to get over it like that other time? Unfortunately, the ceiling is too high up, so we don't have a way to get in there. Then what if we use the engine cutter to break down the gate? We already tried that. We went back to the makeshift base and got it. But seeing as how the cutter failed to even make a dent in it, that gate must be quite sturdy. Great, just great. How can we open it? Watase looked at Yuri. Damn it, the exit's right in front of us. We have to get that gate open no matter what it takes, so that we can save Yuri. Was it one of these... Didn't one of us break into the security slot? Right, we had Ukita break into the circuitry of the security slot in one of the dead ends, and he couldn't do it in time to escape the fire. But we don't have fire pressing in on us right now. Ukita, you want to give it a shot? But just as Watase thought this, he and everyone else suddenly heard a strange noise. The roof's coming down. Dramatic rescue. Watase instantly felt a shock run through his spine. Several large objects were falling from up above. Taken aback by this, he looked up to see the ceiling breaking apart. Guys, get out of here! The ceiling started to collapse at the same time he shouted that. Gah! And Ukita screamed. Debris, pebbles, scraps of iron, steel frames, and iron plates came falling down, one after another. Ah! Yuri tripped and fell on her backside. It was at that moment that a remarkably huge ceiling panel, one about 5 square meters big, fell straight towards her. Yuri! Watase darted for Yuri and shielded her with his body. Oh, that's a good way to die. A moment later, an impact ran through Watase's back. He had intercepted the fallen ceiling panel with his back. Did it fall point down or flat down? The panel itself was only about 20 kilograms, not all that heavy. With Yuri lying under him, Watase got up on all fours and tried to push the panel up and off him with his back. I need to get this off of me, quickly. And even more debris came falling down at that moment. His back was assaulted with impacts that passed through the panel. Ah! The panel's weight suddenly increased tenfold at the same time with great force. Watase tried to break away from it, but his body wouldn't respond. Shit! He had no way of estimating how much the debris piled up on his back weighed. 150 kilograms? 200 kilograms? Whatever it was so heavy that it felt like his arms and legs were going to break right then and there. But he locked eyes with Yuri just at that moment. Watase's face was reflected in those eyes, shrouded with fear and despair. Watase sandwich? I watched Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City last night with Sean. It was atrocious. But they made the Jill sandwich joke and it was genuinely funny. I have to hang in there, or Yuri will be crushed with me. Watase filled his arms and legs with strength, supporting the weight of the debris. All he could think about was protecting Yuri. The sound of the ceiling caving in soon stopped. Leaving Watase and Yuri trapped under a mountain of debris. Captain Kasasagi! Yuri looked up at him with wide eyes. Just then, something leaked down onto her dusty cheeks. Is it blood? Yep, I'm dead. It was Watase's blood. Did I hit the back of my head too much? Watase ignored the pain and spoke. Don't worry, Yuri. I'll save you. You can bet on that. Okay, but more importantly, Captain Kasasagi, you're... Oh, this? It's just a scratch. Watase said that and gave her an awkward smile. But you're bleeding. Yuri looked like she was about to burst into tears. They then heard the voices of the others who'd managed to escape the rain of debris in time. Captain, Miss Yuri? Where are you? Answer us! Oh no, don't tell me they're under that rubble. Are you still alive? Yuri then started screaming as loud as she could so the others would hear. We're right here! Please, hurry and get the rubble off. If you don't, Captain Kasasagi will... But how? The gears in Watase's mind started turning, and I saved the game. Alright. Okay. Now the question becomes, is this self-preservation or self-confidence? Self-preservation or self-confidence? Excuse me. I'm going to leave both the values high. It would probably be very difficult to get rid of this debris with human hands. And the fact that his stamina would eventually run out meant that they had to act fast. Come on, think. I should be able to come up with something. What's the best way to make sure that Yuri survives? Watase then allowed himself to be guided by his instincts and began shouting to those outside the debris. Moribe, get the air jack from the makeshift base, stat! It's kind of far from here. No, it isn't. It shouldn't take that long if you go through Area 1 to get there. Tachibana, teach, old man, get as much debris off of me as you can. Understood. There's no time. I'm counting on you guys. Roger. I'll be back in 2 minutes tops, so hang in there, Captain. Mr. Ukita, Miss Tsubakiyama, let's help too. Right. What should we do? Start moving this debris off. Jun left the factory as Kazumi, Ena, and Ukita started removing the debris. But a minute later, Watase's arms started shaking rapidly. The weight drilling into his back relentlessly tortured his body. His spread elbows creaked, feeling like they'd snap like twigs at any second. Moribe, please hurry up. Yuri's face scrunched up with bitterness, as if she could tell what Watase was feeling. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault that you got trapped here too. You dummy. Don't apologize for nothing. Okay. But why? Why are you going this far to save my life? Even he didn't know why. He could say it was because of the voice in his head, but that didn't feel true. So he just answered with the role he'd been given. Isn't it obvious? It's because I'm a rescue squad captain. No way. Then why is it that back then... But before Yuri could finish her sentence... No, finish the sentence! Jun's shouts cut in. Sorry to keep you all waiting. What's the situation? Pretty bad, to be honest. Hurry up! Understood. Moribe, get the air jack ready ASAP. It's on standby now. Your orders? First, cut along this line from here to there with the engine cutter. Put the air jack in the newly created hole after that. Then lift the debris up and get those two out of there. Roger. Miss Tsubakiyama, Mr. Ukita, get back now. Now commencing cutting procedure. Cuts directly into my spine. The two rescue workers then began removing the debris. God damn it. But the strength in Watase's arms was fading quickly. It wouldn't surprise him if the weight of the debris won out any second now. That is very loud. Watase looked into Yuri's eyes and spoke. Hey, Yuri, could I ask you to do me a favor? A favor? Please, tell me to hang in there. Huh? Please. Captain Kasasagi. Please, hang in there. Upon hearing those words, Watase felt his body become filled with renewed strength. All right! He mustered every ounce of strength he had and pushed up the debris. At that exact moment, part of the debris was removed and a light shone in on Yuri's face. It was then that June inserted the air jack into that opening. Wait, why could I see her face enough to see the blood drip onto it? Why can she see my face? We're buried under debris. Where's the light coming from? It was then that June inserted the air jack into that opening. Air jack now set in place. Everyone, please give us a hand so that the debris doesn't collapse while the air jack is inflating. Leave it to me. All right, then I'll keep this part held up. Okay, inflating air jack, now. The debris was then lifted up into the air. Captain, Miss Yuri, hurry! Watase and Yuri obeyed Kazumi's orders and slipped out of the debris. Then I passed out for half an hour. And we save. Okay, Kazumi. I'm going to max out Kazumi's steady sim value. If you ever feel that the sound effects are too loud, you can turn them down in the options menu. Okay, cool. We might. Watase flopped onto the floor as soon as he escaped the pile of debris. Oh, this is peppy music. All of his bones were creaking, and his muscles were shaking like crazy. Oh, right. Are the others okay? Watase looked around him, setting his eyes on Kazumi first. And a second later, she... Captain, Miss Yuri, thank God you're all right. Ran up to Watase and Yuri as she said that, then embraced the two of them. Whoa! Ah! Kazumi paid no heed to their surprise and started talking in a tear-choked voice. You really had me worried there. It felt like my heart was about to stop any second. It's okay. Yuri and I are fine, but... it's a bit hard to breathe. Kazumi's arms of steel felt like they were crushing Watase and Yuri's throats. Huh? My apologies. She frantically loosened her grip when she realized this. However... hey, Miss Tachibana? Why aren't you letting go? It's okay if we stay like this for a little longer, isn't it? Am I the one in her locket? What just happened was incredibly dangerous, so please, just let me express my thanks for you having survived. After all, I want to imagine what would have happened if we'd made even the slightest mistake just now, and if your self-esteem value wasn't high enough. Kazumi said that and gave Watase and Yuri a nice pat on the back. Upon which, Yuri began to tremble as the reality of what they'd just been through only now finally hit her. That really was scary, wasn't it? Yes. You held up so good back there without even crying, you know that? But you're safe now. Kazumi said that and gently stroked Yuri's hair. The warmth from Kazumi's arms flowed into Watase. He also felt Yuri's heat flood into him from their shoulders that were now connected from the hug they were locked in. Oh, Watase has definitely forgotten what his face looks like. It was then that Watase felt himself fully reconnect with reality again. That's right, we survived. We made it out of there with our lives. There was a path to survival even in such a desperate crisis like that. And the one who'd carved that path open for them was their most reliable comrade, Kazumi. Watase gently hugged her back. Yuri's arms soon overlapped with Watase's. The three of them just stood in that embrace for a while, not saying a word. Eventually, June cut up the atmosphere up with a teasing voice. Cut up the atmosphere up. Wow, it really is good to be the captain, huh? I mean, you get free hugs from Lieutenant Stoneface and everything. The three of them turned around in surprise to see the rest of the group grinning at them. I must admit, I'm a tad jealous. You must be feeling really, really nice right about now. Well, I'd say it was well-deserved. It's thanks to him that Miss Yuri's alive. Watase shook his head at that comment. No, I couldn't have done anything on my own. Have a little self-esteem, Watase. I maxed it out. It was thanks to everyone's teamwork that we were able to save Yuri. And me! Everyone smiled embarrassingly when Watase said that. By the way, the back of your head is bleeding. Are you okay? Oh, yeah, now that you mention it, I am bleeding, huh? Come on, turn around. I'll apply some Chiron to it. Anna took out the medical ointment they'd found earlier, but then Yuri timidly spoke up. Would you please let me do it? It's my fault he got hurt, so... Okay. We'll let Miss Yuri handle this. That sound good, Captain Kasasagi? Yeah, I'll be counting on you, Yuri. Yes. Yuri took the Chiron from Enna and walked around to Watase's backside. She applied the ointment to her fingertips, then rubbed them against the wound on the back of Watase's head, making it sting like a motherfucker. He could feel the gentle movements of her fingers. Before long, Yuri spoke up in surprise. Huh? What is it? I just noticed something. You have a single streak of white hair. Oh, really? I can't see my own head, so I wouldn't know. It's true. It's like a Kasasagi feather. A Kasasagi? It's the name of a kind of magpie. It's a very smart bird that has a single white feather. Huh. Then maybe that's where my surname Kasasagi came from? It's an assumed name. Enna interjected at Watase's light joke. Of course not. Did you also lose all your common sense with your memories? Oh, come on, Teach. I was just joking. Just trying to cheer up Yuri. Oh, really? You know, you may be rather tough and manly, but your sense of humor sucks to high heaven. You don't gotta go in on me like that. Damn, you're as harsh as always. Yuri let out an amused laugh at that conversation. The first time she's laughed on screen. Watase and Enna also smiled when they heard her laugh. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever heard Yuri laugh. Hanging in there really did pay off. Yuri finished applying the ointment to Watase, then addressed everyone in the room. Captain Kasasagi, everyone, I have a confession to make. Thank you so much for saving my life. Now let me let you in on the secrets of psychic mushrooms. No thanks needed. What matters most of all is that you're safe. She's right. If something happened to one of the survivors after all we'd been through, we'd lose the right to call ourselves a rescue squad. Got that right. But man, I never thought the ceiling would just cave in like that. Why didn't you think so? You got advanced warning when you first walked in here. Watase sighed in exasperation and looked up at the collapsed ceiling. It was at that moment that he spotted something. No, more like his attention was drawn by it. Ah! Is something wrong, Captain? Don't tell me more crap's gonna fall again. No, that's not it. I just thought of a way to open the gate. Ooh, pray tell. Wait, seriously? Yeah, we should be able to use that and we'll be clear. Watase was pointing at a crane hanging down from the ceiling. If we can put a notch in the gate with the engine cutter, then hook it onto the crane and have it force the gate open. It sounds like it's worth a shot. I thought you couldn't cut the gate open. But is that crane actually working? hold on a minute. I'll look into it. Ukita ran alongside the wall, then started operating a controller sitting there. Yes, it moved. We can use it. Then let's get to work. Stat. Yeah, we've already got the engine cutter here and everything, so this is perfect timing. The group all nodded at each other, then headed over to the gate that was barring their way. Alrighty, then I'll try making an incision into the gate. Back up, guys. I'm going to turn that volume down in the OBS. That is very loud. Options to see. Sound. Sound effect volume. There, that's better. How's that? June started up the engine cutter, then ran its spinning blade into the gate. A flurry of sparks bathed her body. You little son of a bitch! Doria! Ashara! Whew! Captain, how's this look? Watase studied the gate to see that there was now indeed a small notch etched into the spot where June had cut. Good job. Now all that's left is to hook the crane onto this thing. Old man, you're up. Roger. Ukita nodded and started operating the crane again. All clear, all clear, all clear. Okay, stop. Kazumi hooked the crane's hook onto the recently carved notch. Everyone, fall back just to be safe. Watase waited until everyone had complied, then gave Ukita a hand signal. Ukita nodded again, then pressed a switch on the controller. The crane's chain rewound up to the ceiling, causing the hook to pull tight against the gate as it did. Watase prayed as he observed the scene play out before him. Please work. Just then, the gate started creaking in the blink of an eye. The notch then widened even further, and opened up to create an opening large enough for people to walk through it. All right, it went off without a hitch. We did it! We did it! We did it! We did it! The opening was big enough for even someone of Watase's stature to fit through. They could vaguely see what appeared to be the lift's control panel through the darkness. Thank goodness. See, now we can rest easy. It would appear that all went well, correct? Yes. I apologize for forcing a civilian like you to assist us with this task. Don't apologize. We do what we can. All of us. No, it was no problem at all. I'll do anything if it means getting out of here. Everyone's faces had brightened now that they could get through the gate that has been causing them so much grief. Watase also found himself spontaneously break out into a smile. All right. What is this choice going to be about? Let's focus on June. Make this cool, three-pronged shape as well. Alright, let's see what this does. Thank God, now we finally secured an escape route. It was true that they hadn't found all the survivors yet, but now they could at the very least get Yuri, Ena, and Ukita out of there. Plus, this would mean they'd no longer have any problems with AD, and could also get backup from the rescue workers on the surface. Watase breathed a sigh of relief, looked at his comrades' faces, and then smiled at June. "Moribe, we did it!" "Yeah! And it was all thanks to this engine cutter here. You're scaring me with that look in your eyes. You sure do like that thing, huh?" I get that a lot. June gave an embarrassed smile, which Watase returned in kind. He then looked at the others. They were all covered in soot and dust, but they were still smiling. "Alright, let's get the civilians out of here. It was thanks to all of them that they were able to make it this far without losing a single life. There'd been many a time where they'd almost given up, but they'd lost heart not even once. No matter how seemingly hopeless the situation, humans have the will to never give up and to keep moving forward, huh? It was the will to live that had welled up from the deepest part of all their hearts. It felt like the sole light of hope that had shined through their despair. We get in there and the cargo lift is broken. Hope isn't something as simple as an escape route or AD. Hope is the fact that all of us are comrades who fought to support each other through thick and thin. Watase's heart warmed at that thought. He held back his surge of emotions and spoke up. "Okay then, let's get out of here. Then I'll go in first to make sure it's safe. We're counting on you." "Yep, just leave it to me." June went through the opening in high spirits as the others saw her off. However, not even a second later. "Ah!" June's scream pierced through the darkness on the other side. "Moribe, what's the matter? Is it a body?" The rest of the group gulped and went through the opening. "Oh no!" The room they entered was about 9 square meters in size. There was a cargo lift for supplies big enough for people to fit on, lying on the other side of the room, just as the manual had said. June was standing in front of it, frozen like a statue. "Moribe, what's wrong?" Not another one." June pointed to the side of the lift as she said that in a trembling voice. "What?" Watase was rendered speechless at the sight. Oh, it's a corpse. Lying there was the body of a girl. That is not one of the 3, right? Who is that girl? Is she Mashiro Toba? But Enna, her face as white as a sheet, answered quickly in a low voice. "No, she isn't." "What? Then who is she?" Everyone just stared at the body of this girl who no one knew, and who'd never even come up once up until this point, whose story we'll find in Before Crime. A hole had been pierced through her stomach. A gunshot wound. It's the gun zombie's work. The blood that had poured out of it had already dried up into a dark color. Ooh, a gunshot is a terrible way to die. She had undoubtedly been murdered. But when that happened was something that no one knew, and the bigger question was, why did someone kill this girl? The girl's face was completely expressionless. There wasn't a hint of fear or pain to be seen. Well, yeah, 'cause she's dead. She just stared at the floor with hollow eyes. Everyone was utterly dumbstruck. The room was now as silent as a tomb. It wasn't long before Ukita let out another surprised gasp. Yeah, did he see the broken control panel? Ah! He slowly staggered over to the panel. The lift's control panel that was lying next to the girl had been completely destroyed, as if someone had intentionally broken it. Ukita silently tried to work it, but nothing happened even after he pressed the switch. The lift didn't make a sound. Ukita then hit the panel in what seemed like resignation, then shook his head. A still air filled the small room yet again. Why? It was Yuri who broke up the silence. Why did all this have to happen? Her voice, brimming with bewilderment and despair, echoed through the confined room. Do you know this person? No one could answer her. Everyone just stood absolutely still, overcome with shock. After Chapter 4, 12 o'clock chapter, 6 hours until lockdown is lifted. The end of hope. Alright, I'm going to save. Then I will be back in 5 minutes, guys. Okay, back. The group had been guided by hope up until now. They'd had faith that there must be an escape route somewhere, that survivors must still live, awaiting rescue somewhere. And the cargo lift they'd found at the end of their search should have been their only escape route. But it had already been destroyed. There had never been any hope to begin with. Instead, all they'd found there was the unidentified body of a girl. The group was frozen in total shock. Everyone had been struck speechless by this unforeseen turn of events. Soon enough, Kazumi. I'll run a vitals check on her. I don't think you'll find any, Kazumi. Ran over to the girl with that declaration. She took off her vital checker and put it around the girl's wrist. All 5 lights shone a bright red. Status all red. She opened the girl's eyelids up wider and checked her pupils. Her pupils have dilated. Kazumi laid the girl down and spoke. Moribe, help me out. I'm going to perform CPR. I don't think that's going to help, Kazumi. She's not breathing. Right. She is super dead, guys. June hurriedly sat down next to the girl. Kazumi performed cardiac massage, 15 compressions. June performed artificial respiration, 2 rescue breaths. The girl didn't respond. Watase just stood there in blank amazement, unable to even do a thing. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. The girl didn't respond. It's hopeless. Ukita kneeled beside the girl and muttered that. Kazumi and June ignored him and continued their CPR. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. She's already dead. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. You guys couldn't save her. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. Oh, is this Ukita's kid or little sister? And neither could I. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. 15 compressions, 2 rescue breaths. Kazumi didn't stop the CPR. Tachibana, it's too late. Watase's words didn't seem to register with Kazumi. Eventually, her watch alarm went off. Tachibana, it's time to administer the AD. Hey, are you listening? Watase took out one of the AD ampules and administered it to himself. He then injected Enna and Yuri with 2 other ampules. Yuri was so out of it that she didn't even offer up one of her usual protests. Come on, Tachibana, you guys have to take some too. Kazumi didn't reply, but her lips faintly moved. Nagisa, don't die. Oh. She knows this kid. June's eyes widened at that moment. Sis, this girl isn't Nagisa. Nagisa? Confusion swept over Watase. Kazumi didn't listen and continued her CPR attempts. Lieutenant, stop it already! Kazumi finally stopped moving at the sound of June's cry. Tachibana. He couldn't say any more. Kazumi quietly turned around towards Watase and spoke. I did everything within my power. But she's dead. Kazumi muttered that. Her face seemed absolutely devoid of life. The rest of the group chose that moment to speak up in terrified voices. Lieutenant Tachibana? Are you okay? I apologize for causing you all concern. I'm all right now. Her tone of voice and the look on her face were the same as always, and full of a harshness that wouldn't accept any further questions. What the hell just happened? Kazumi had clearly been acting strange. Yeah, you think? But her attitude made it clear that she would reject any questions regarding the reason for her actions. However, there was one thing they all knew for sure. There's been yet another victim. Man, it's so rare for a game to show a dead kid. It's always a shocker when it happens. The group left the room, their hearts full of melancholy. They left the girl's body where it was. Hello? No sooner had they exited than did the Procyon alarm start beeping. The reading on its display showed 4,000 MSV. It appeared that the contamination had spread to the factory too, shooting the radiation levels up to the first danger standard. The whole facility could suffer the same fate if this keeps up. That was a problem just as grave as the body they'd just found. This meant that they weren't guaranteed to survive in this hellish place, even with AD. Tachibana, Moribe, old man, give yourself some AD too. Did Junpei count as a dead kid in 999? He was young then? No. Junpei was like 23. Maybe 19? I don't know. He was in college. Tachibana, Moribe, old man, give yourself some AD too. I know there's a lot on your minds right now, but you have to. Yes. Let's do it. We don't want to die after all. Their lives had been extended for another hour yet again, but this time, our escape route's been cut off. At this rate, we'll need to inject ourselves with AD 5 more times, so we need 30 more ampules, but we've been everywhere. But they'd already used up all the AD they had. They'd searched what had felt like the entire facility so far, so unless they'd missed some AD somewhere, they'd all be exposed to radiation in just an hour. But in that case, does that mean we have to look through all the areas again? Search every nook and cranny in more depth than last time? Well, it might be in a room that was on fire that we put out in the early areas. He shook his head as soon as he thought that. With their one light of hope having been so cruelly snuffed out, all his fatigue was catching up to him at once. His body wasn't in perfect shape either, what with his cracked ribs and the cut on the back of his head. His eyes that had been stung by smoke so many times suddenly started hurting. Everyone's faces were equally filled with bewilderment. No one said a word. They were just all so confused about the incredibly unexpected sight they'd seen in the room. But we still have to keep on searching. A voice started pouring out of Watase's PDA as he thought that. Eat me? Kasasagi, do you read me? It was Commander Murakami again. Watase took out his PDA in shock. Loud and clear. This is Kasasagi, over. Sagi, we finally got into... There was much more static on this radio transmission than the previous ones. Reception is extremely unstable. This will probably be the last man's mission. Something I need to tell... Commander, I can't hear you. You didn't find anyone with gun. We can't confirm if there's a killer or not. They could tell he was saying something like, we couldn't find anyone with a gun. We can't confirm if there's a killer here or not. Got it. What else? According to... Trapped there aside from you guys... One is possibly trapped there, including the dead Dojima and Hiyama. Reset. The commander desperately tried to give Watase's group the information they needed in the intervals between the loud bursts of static. I repeat, trapped down there are, in Yama, 2 researchers. It seemed like he was repeating the same message over and over again. The group gathered around Watase's PDA and did their best not to miss a single word, no, a single letter that he spoke. Dojima and Hiyama, 2 researchers, 3 high school students, and 2 high school students, 2 girls. Rescue survivors, work. You all vive as we survive. The transmission ended there. All that could be heard was white noise. Was that a list of the survivors? Watase put the PDA away. Kazumi, who'd finally regained her wits, spoke up. I hope we're not going to be hearing the PDA beep for the entire rest of the Procyon beep for the entire rest of the game, because that's going to get annoying. Yes, he was probably trying to tell us who else was possibly trapped in here. What do you think he said? From what I can piece together, he said, the ones trapped there, including the dead, are Dojima and Hiyama, 2 researchers, I think. He then said 3 high school students. Wait, that wasn't all. He also said one more thing after that. 1 second, guys. Be right back. Oh yeah, I think it was 2 girls. By girls, do you think he meant Yuri and that kid? Everyone's eyes focused on Yuri all at once. I think I'm probably one of them. Figured as much. Then the other one must have been that girl. Watase then got to thinking. Out of all the people the commander had said were still trapped there, Dojima and Hiyama, the 2 researchers, and one of the girls were already dead. Apart from that, there was 1 other girl, Yuri, and 3 high school students. Wait, Ukita's one of the researchers. Ukita and Anna were not in that roll call. If we're talking about 2 researchers that are dead. Huh. Ukita and Anna are not in that roll call. That's going to be interesting. But Ukita did not shoot the girl. Because he was surprised about her death. I think she was his daughter or little sister. So those 3 kids really haven't escaped after all? Anna was taken aback at Watase's words. Then those kids must be lying unconscious somewhere. This is bad. We must have overlooked them. Please, calm down, Miss Tsubakiyama. There's still a possibility that they're moving around. Huh? We have been moving together as much as possible, and have consistently been searching in only one direction for the most part. That means there's enough room to assume that we have merely missed each other. The group had indeed searched all the areas, including the contaminated zones. So if Kazumi's theory was correct, then it made total sense why they hadn't found them yet. But still, that's all the more reason we need to look for them right away. Hold on, Teach. We still need to think some things through before we go do that. Like what? Like the situation we're in right now. Watase was talking about the cargo lift room, the room with the body. When you consider the fact that there was a mysterious girl's body right by what was supposed to be our ticket out of here, you have to ask, just what in the hell have we gotten ourselves mixed up in? There was no one who could answer that question. Oh, we've None of these guys are going to realize that Ukita and Enna weren't on that roll call. Flashback, huh? In the end, it was Kazumi who broke the heavy silence. Let's go over what we do know. If you had to ask me, I would guess that the girl died trying to escape from here. Here's my basis for that. Kazumi then took a security card out of her pocket. The name Shuya Eriguchi was on it, as were the words Level N. Level N? Where the hell did you find this? It was ranked higher than the level 6 cards that the group had. It was lying right next to that girl's body. So you had presence of mind enough to pick it up? She probably used this to get all the way over to the cargo lift. But what was a girl like that doing with such a high-level card? Who in the heck was she? Perhaps she was a family member of one of the staff here, just like Yuri? Yeah, one of the staff, huh, Ukita? Whatever the case, she desperately made it all the way over here, but lost all hope when she saw there was no exit, then passed away. But if that's how it went down, then who the hell broke the lift? Everyone's faces froze over at that question. Broke? That panel wasn't broken by accident, no matter how you try to spin it. Someone clearly broke that thing intentionally. Think that girl could have done it? I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's still rather implausible. But either way, what would they have had to gain from doing that? The fact that it's destroyed means that whoever the culprit was is still down here. Anna? But I do not believe there is anyone who would voluntarily wish to be trapped in a place such as this. Watase didn't have a clue either. Who in their right mind would be willing to brave the risk of being trapped in this place, to the point of cutting off their own escape route? I wonder if one of the kids killed her. Is the main character of Before Crime the gun zombie? I wonder. But his thoughts were interrupted by Enna's subdued voice. Maybe it was the killer? The killer? Teach, what are you... I'm talking about the one who killed that girl. Whoever it was is most likely the same person who killed those people in Area 3, right? Watase's mind flashed back for a second to the grotesque sight he'd witnessed in that room. 2 of the corpses there had bullet wounds, just like the girl. Yeah, it is possible that the killer of those people is one and the same. We've all been trying to ignore those 3 bodies up until this point, haven't we? We shelved away any discussion of it by going with the theory that the killer had escaped. We all figured that we would worry about searching for the killer after we got out of here, yes? Yes. Kazumi had sternly told everyone that back when they found the bodies. But that assumption has been completely invalidated. It would appear that they could not have escaped so easily. So I'll say it again, this was no mere accident. Anna's sharp voice echoed in the silent factory. What's that supposed to mean? To see someone who's been shot to death lying next to our escape route means that it's natural to assume that she was shot while trying to escape, right? A murder happened right in the basement of a facility that's currently impossible to escape from. Then isn't it possible that the killer's the one who created this closed space? Impossible. Why would they do that? Maybe they wanted to kill someone here and therefore stayed behind so they could do it? For example, if they did it during the lockdown, then all the evidence would go up in flames with the bodies. Cut it out, Teach. That's just speculation. All you're going to do is get people worked up over nothing. No, Watase. It's a good train of thought. Watase finally grew sick of Enna's conspiracy theories and objected. But then June cut in. Hold on a sec, you guys. What? Well, I didn't think it had anything to do with all of this up until now. Dramatic music. Recently, it's believed that Rokume City, the city where Labo is located, They have been invaded by terrorists. Dropping this on us now? Terrorists? That sudden phrase left Watase in shock. What's the basis for that? Well, there might not be anything concrete on the matter, but there's been rumors about that floating around. There's been similar incidents happening in this city recently. There was this other huge research facility that was bombed only yesterday. Terrorists targeting a nuclear reactor? Yes, that would make sense. All those seemingly random explosions and fires, the sprinkler system being suspiciously offline. When you think about it, these are all clearly human acts. And if all of that were to be capped off by a nuclear reactor blowing up, that would practically be a masterpiece in terms of an act of destruction. If that theory was indeed correct, then it was no surprise that there'd be bullet holes in all those corpses. If terrorists truly are behind this, that would also explain why so many unnatural situations have kept on piling up. But Ukita scoffed. Have you people been watching one too many movies or something? Huh? Terrorists? Seriously? How preposterous. Are you not aware of how strict our security is? Well, how did it happen then, Ukita? Facilities like this that house nuclear reactors have been granted permission to possess security measures beyond the law. We have a 24/7 security team comprised of ex-JSDF soldiers equipped with rifles and riot guns. That's the Japanese Defense Force, right? What's the S stand for? With rifles and riot guns. Only in fiction could a terrorist hope to even dream of overcoming such defense. You talk a big game, but your so-called perfect disaster prevention system breaks apart if anyone so much as opens the lid on the whole damn thing. Self. The S stands for self. Isn't there any possibility that a terrorist could have taken advantage of a hole in that security and snuck in unnoticed? Are you sure there's no loopholes anywhere? A loophole? How the hell would I know something like that? You're the one who was talking up the security system, Ukita. You're getting obsessed with your little theory and not thinking logically about this. Oh, really? Then isn't it also a fact that the mysterious girl lying in that room managed to sneak in here somehow? Face it, the defense systems you've put so much faith in aren't looking all that reliable at all. Are you that intent on having me take responsibility for our facility? Ukita and Enna felt like they were standing right next to a powder keg ready to explode. Please stop. Yuri timidly pleaded to them. But then someone least expected also spoke up. The dead girl from the other room. I'm very suspicious of Yuri. Yes, perhaps we should consider the involvement of terrorists for the time being. What? You believe her, Lieutenant? Yes, somewhat. However, the idea that a terrorist is actually here is merely a hypothesis. As I said before, I believe that there's a high probability that the killer escaped before the lockdown commenced. Huh? What are your grounds for that? Because if the terrorists were trapped here just like us, then why have we not run into them in the nearly 5 hours that have passed since the start of the lockdown? If they have a gun, then they could just hold us hostage and take as much AD from us as they liked. And yet they have not done so. It doesn't make sense, no matter what angle you think about it from. Those are my thoughts on the matter. But that person on the radio just now said that there wasn't anyone who'd escaped to the surface with a gun, right? What about that? That only holds water if they didn't simply discard their firearms somewhere. What's more, if they slipped into that huge panic that was going on before the lockdown began, they could have escaped whenever they wanted. Yeah, if that were a valid line of inquiry, we would have run into the kids by now more than the once. He could be circling the facility. It was a well thought out, logical reasoning that befitted someone like Kazumi. I think you're right. Yuri voiced her own opinion, a rather rare occasion to say the least. Hold on a sec, Lieutenant. Don't you think it's too soon to decide that? And why is that? Aren't you the one who was always telling me to always assume the worst when at work? I wonder if Yuri's the killer. If there's a terrorist down here with us, then we're in a whole different league of danger, right? Those are completely different matters. We are not detectives. But it's important that we consider the possibility. Yeah, assume the worst. Assume there's someone down here willing to kill us. And if there isn't, we'll be fine. Then what are you saying? Are you implying that one of the 9 still trapped here is a terrorist? I never took you for the type who would doubt her own students. Impossible. Don't be ridiculous. No one's saying that at all. Then do you mean to say there's a terrorist among the 6 of us? That's even more unlikely. If someone full of malice was amongst us, then we would be in far worse straits than we are now. Everyone was voicing their own opinions, and Watase thought they all had their own good points. But having this debate drag on for so long was truly getting unpleasant. Alright, let's just all calm down for a minute, guys. What's your problem? You're the only one who hasn't spoken their thoughts on the matter, right? I know that. Well, let's all rein in our own personal opinions for the time being. But before Watase could say any more, a shock ran through his head. And right after that, countless scenes flashed through his brain. What? Watase was confused by this random phenomenon. The events of the last few hours flashed before him. Everything from when he'd woken up in Area 1 to arriving in Area 6. It all streamed past his eyes like a muddy stream for some reason. And then disappeared. Hey, what's with the sudden silent treatment? Anna and the others were staring at Watase with wide eyes. But he was so surprised that he was at a complete loss for words. What the hell was that? It was clearly bizarre. It wasn't like he'd been reflecting on his memories. No, this was totally different. He'd remembered everything that had happened up until this point in a second, and in such minute detail at that. And at that exact moment, he made several connections about a few of the things he'd observed up until now. Wait a minute. Let's say there is a terrorist down here. Which one of the 9 trapped in this facility would be the most likely suspect? Suspicions started faintly flaring up in Watase's heart. Oh, we gotta save here. Alright. Okay. Ukita and Eda are both suspicious. Go through the suspects list one at a time. Ukita and Eda are both suspicious. Ukita was surprised to see the dead girl and shocked, and they seem to have a personal connection. So he didn't kill her. Which makes him less suspicious than Ena, but Ukita is definitely hiding the true extent. Ukita is hiding the true extent of his rank and involvement with the facility. So he is hiding something. But he did not kill the girl in the cargo lift room. Ena, we don't know why she's here. She gave a flimsy reason for why she's here. that I questioned immediately, to my credit. She had no good reason for being here. Summoned by an administrator or whatever she said. I'm gonna not trust Enna. Suspicions started faintly flaring up in Watase's heart. They swiftly grew bigger. He said that Labo's security is so strict that no terrorist could ever sneak in. But the old man's a staff member here. It would have been easy for him to let a terrorist in. What are the odds that the loophole in security Teach was talking about could be old man Ukita? I'm not going to trust Enna. No, wait. It's not restricted to the old man. Maybe it was one of the other researchers who's already evacuated. Those doubts begot even more doubts. It's begat. No, what if it's the other way around? What are the odds that Teach is a terrorist? Now that I think about it, her reason for being here is flimsy to begin with, I know, right? We have no clue if she was really summoned here by a staffer. Even the assumption that Enna was a teacher was solely based off her word, and her word alone. Okay. I'm gonna keep my value with June high and Kazumi in the middle to favor to go away from Kazumi's assumption that the terrorist is gone already. He didn't really have much of a reason to trust her. What about Tachibana and Moribe? There's nothing strange about anything they've said and done. They've always acted in the interest of everyone's safety. I'm sure I can trust them. In fact, isn't the reason that the lockdown is still going on the thing that's fishy here? Is it really because of the radiation leakage control system? Could be Ukita sabotaging it. His doubts just kept on summoning more doubt. But something was bizarre. Putting aside the images he'd just seen and his chain of rising doubt, it feels like someone is commanding me to recall everything you've seen so far and think about the path that has led you up to this point. Looks directly into the camera. But who could that someone be? The writers, of course. Watase looked over everyone's faces. He was still just as perplexed about that phenomenon as he had been from the start. He glanced at Kazumi, June, Ukita, Enna, and then... It was then that he noticed it. Yuri was gone. Uh-oh. Yuri's gone. Watase's surprised declaration sent everyone turning around. You're right, but why? Don't tell me she ran off again. Well, we were all arguing. If she's on the level, it scared her that we were all arguing. If she's not on the level, then maybe we found her out and she got out of here in anticipation of that. Miss Yuri? Kazumi frantically looked around. Watase also turned around and saw the Area 5 gate open with Yuri running through it. Found her. She headed for Area 5. No way. How'd she get the gate open? Was she hiding a security card on her? Enough talk. Let's go after her. Indeed. The group all broke off into a dash at once. Area 5, Outer Ring, B2. Kazumi spoke up to the rest of the group as soon as they all ran in here. It's possible that we'll also get separated. Gather in the neuroscience laboratory in 10 minutes, whether you find her or not. Watase checked the time on his watch. It said 12:31 p.m. Got it. The group all gave similar answers and split up. Kazumi and June kept going straight towards Area 4. They probably planned to seal off the other exits before Yuri could flee to another area. Ena and Ukita checked all the nearby rooms. And so Watase headed for the inner ring. I don't think Moribe ever told Yuri that the inner ring was a contaminated zone. If she ran there, then that means... Watase's thoughts were interrupted by a voice echoing in his head. Go, save her! It was the first time in a while he'd heard that auditory hallucination. Watase headed to the contaminated zone, as if guided by the voice. He ran through the connecting passageway and plunged straight into the inner ring. His Procyon's alarm immediately started beeping. The indicator read 9355 MSV! Oof! But he ignored it and started shouting. Yuri, where are you? Yuri! He checked every single room in his search, but Yuri was nowhere to be seen. To be safe, Watase went to check the elevator hall. And that was where he found her. Yuri! Upon hearing Watase's shout, Yuri twitched with a start and turned around. Ah! So you really did come after me. What do you mean you really did come after me? Of course I did. Anyway, this place is dangerous. It's a contaminated zone. A troubled smile rose to Yuri's face at those words. Because she's immune to radiation! Like a mushroom. I see, and yet you came running through it just for me. Yuri? Yuri paid no heed to Watase's confusion and looked him dead in the eye. You're always worrying about me like this, aren't you? But then why? Why did you do something so horrible to me back then? What? Watase gasped. He had no recollection of ever doing anything of the sort. What do you mean by something so horrible? Do you really not remember? Her voice was filled with some unknown emotion. A minute later and I would have died. A mixture of confusion and terror. Oh, did we save her and when she wanted to die? I was really scared when I found myself trapped all alone in that sea of flames. Her words were shaking Watase up. And yet you were also the one who saved me. Watase felt something new gripping his heart. Oh, did he set the fire? What are you trying to do? An intense fear. Yuri, what are you talking about? He somehow knew that Yuri was about to reveal something truly horrifying. Something he didn't know. No, something he shouldn't know. But Yuri shook her head. If you don't know, then I don't know either. I don't know what to believe anymore. Yuri quietly walked over to him. So Captain Kasasagi, please let me know your mind. Reaches up and mind melds with him. Yuri said that and turned her palm toward Watase. Only for a bizarre scene to play back through his head. What? It was a memory he had no recollection of. Something was grabbing his wrist. Ha! It then laughed ominously. The man spotted a broken wristwatch out of the corner of his eye. And a second later, he was assaulted by an intense pain akin to his brain being crushed. Something else was also welling up inside Watase. It was unmistakably fear. And Watase felt that very same emotion towards the girl standing right before him. Watase immediately ran out of the elevator hall. Once he shut the door, he suddenly came to his senses. Shit, what the hell am I doing? Why do I need to run from Yuri? She's Yuri. She's not that monster. Are you sure she's not a gun zombie? Just as he thought that. Ugh. A sharp pain shot through his head. Ah! Watase held his head and screamed. The scream echoed in his skull, jumbling his thoughts into disorder. What the hell is this? I've never felt anything like this. Until now. Is this radiation damage? Is it because I've been to contaminated zones several times? He had a horrible headache, like something was piercing through his head and scrambling his brain. The pain spread to his whole body, and his stomach felt like it was being stretched out. Ah! Watase threw up. There was nothing in his stomach, so all that came up was stomach acid mixed with blood that spattered all over the hallway. His consciousness was fading away quickly. Oh, did I get a bad end because I mistrusted the wrong people? My memories were shattered back then, and my past self's memories, Ah! Watase screamed again and forced his consciousness to stay where it was. His memories had been muddled by that intense headache. He looked down to find there was red vomit at his feet. What just happened to me? What was I doing? He shuffled through his memories and quickly remembered that he'd been searching for Yuri. Damn it! If I suffered this much damage from the radiation, then Yuri's in danger! That frail girl could never survive in such a dangerous place. Are you sure about that? The only thing Watase felt was concern for her. It felt like he'd just been feeling some other sort of emotion for her, but whatever it was had completely vanished. Watase spat out the disgusting taste filling his mouth. He then ran back over to the elevator hall. But Yuri was no longer there. There was nowhere to run from the elevator hall, so where had she gone? Into the elevator? Did she climb the ladder up to B1? Watase opened the elevator doors with that thought. The elevator car was still up on the surface floors, just as it had been earlier. Watase climbed up the ladder through the darkness. But when he got to B1, Yuri was still nowhere to be found. Okay, and Save. What do we got here? Do we trust Yuri? Excuse me. Do we trust Yuri? Excuse me. Huh. If I value her highly, I'll probably stay in the contaminated zone and die. But let's see what happens. Watase ran around the block. However, even after looking through all the rooms, there was still no hide nor hair of Yuri to be found. It's neither hide nor hair is the expression, not no hide nor hair. Why? Where did she go? However, wondering why she was gone wouldn't do any good. He had to keep searching. Yuri, where are you? Yuri! He ran towards the outer ring as he shouted that. Once he approached the connecting passageway, he saw Kazumi and June. Tachibana, Moribe! Captain? The two of them rushed over to him as soon as they heard his calls. Did you find Yuri? I spotted her in the inner ring just a few minutes ago, but I lost sight of her. We've had no success either. We secured the perimeter around the Area 4 gate so she couldn't go through there, but she's not here. The three of them all exchanged glances. She vanished. But why? Are you positive that you didn't just miss her? This whole thing's weird. And how the heck did Yuri get into Area 5 to begin with? Yeah, that's bugging me too. She's got some kind of card. Maybe she has an Area N card. It went without saying, but you needed a level 5 or higher card to open the security gate to Area 5. But all the cards they'd acquired so far were in the possession of Watase, Kazumi, and June. She's a pickpocket! No one else should have had a card. Was Yuri hiding a card on her? That's the only possibility I can think of. But why would Yuri hide something like that? Yuri's motives had suddenly become incomprehensible to them. Yet another silence descended upon them. What if she's the terrorist? Eventually, Kazumi broke that silence with a sigh. We won't get an answer by standing around here and speculating. Let's head for the neuroscience laboratory for now. It's almost time to rendezvous with the others. Wait, already? Watase checked his watch. It was 12:35 p.m. It was indeed almost time for them to meet up. It was 12:31 p.m. when this 10 minutes started. It's only been 4 minutes. It's not even halfway. Have I really been searching for that long? Watase followed Kazumi and June as a vague sense of dissatisfaction coiled around him. He then called out to Kazumi as they walked. Tachibana, the inner ring is contaminated. I'm worried about Yuri's health. Huh? I told her that it was a contaminated zone, but she still ran off. Impossible. Why? I've got no clue either. I mean, I know she ran off that one time a few hours back, but what if she killed that kid a few hours ago? Kazumi hung her head when Watase said that. The AD will only last about another hour. She'll be in big trouble if we don't find her before then. Yes. Though that said, if Yuri was hiding a card from us, we can't fully deny the possibility she was hiding some AD on her as well. Tachibana? Kazumi was dead silent. Perhaps she hadn't heard Watase. It was then that her lips faintly moved, releasing a small whisper. Please be safe. And Save? Alright. We will trust Kazumi. Kazumi picked up the pace when she said that. Hey? She didn't turn around even from that. Watase glanced at June. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. June looked sadly at Kazumi. Yeah, something's definitely up. Watase ran up to Kazumi as soon as he thought that. Hey, Tachibana! She finally looked at Watase after hearing him shout. Sudden romantic music! Huh? Haven't you been acting a little weird for a while now? I remember you acting like this back when you found the girl's body at the cargo lift. I think you said Nagisa or something like that. So you heard that? Yeah, it feels like you're acting just like you were back then. What's this Nagisa? Why is someone so cool-headed as you acting this way? Kazumi breathed a deep sigh at Watase's question. It appears it would be better if I told you. She then began quietly talking. Nagisa was my little sister's name. You have a sister? Past tense, Watase, keep up. Yes, she was my only family until she passed away nearly 10 years ago. Watase gasped. Kazumi continued with her story. I wasn't a rescue worker or a firefighter at the time. I just had a normal job. My sister and I lived in a single-room apartment. We didn't have much, but it was a happy life. But one day, I was on my way home from work, same as always. Did she die via fire? Only to find the apartment complex where Nagisa was waiting for me collapsing. Collapsing? How did that happen? It was a gas explosion, one powerful enough to partially destroy the complex. I just stood there the whole time, unable to do a single thing. Yeah, I saw a video of a gas explosion a little while ago, where somebody was in a standoff with the cops. They had opened up their gas stoves gas expulsion mechanism, and then lit it on fire, and the whole fucking building exploded. Well, like a third of the building exploded. It was horrifying. And it was instantaneous. Like, one moment the building was intact, the next it was missing a third of it. The fire trucks came soon enough, and Nagisa was taken to a hospital, but it was no use. Kazumi's voice was as calm as always. In contrast, Watase's heart felt like it was shaking. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have forced you to open up such old wounds. It's all right. This isn't the first time I've told you about this, after all. Oh, boy. Oh, that's awkward. Watase had never cursed his amnesia more than he did now. I've gone and made her relive this painful story twice? But Kazumi didn't seem bothered by it. She hung her head down and spoke. If Nagisa were alive, she'd be about the same age as Miss Yuri, or that girl who died by the lift. Oh no, she was a little kid then! Oh man! So you see, Captain, whenever I see a girl around that age hurt or in danger, I just can't keep my composure. I always try to act like a calm and collected perfectionist, but something like that, and I completely fall apart. Like right now. And yet I'm still in this line of work. Even though disaster sites are no place for atonement, laughable, isn't it? Kazumi gave a self-deprecating laugh. Now Watase understood the true meaning behind Kazumi's attitude towards Yuri. So being hard on Yuri was her way of showing concern? Watase, now filled with this knowledge. You idiot, of course it's not laughable. Wrapped an arm around Kazumi's head. Kazumi jolted with a start and then froze. Captain, please stop. You're setting a bad example for Moribei. He could tell that June was staring at them from behind, but Watase did his best to ignore that. Forget that and listen up, Tachibana. Maybe you'll think I'm getting full of myself by talking like I understand, but I think it's something that I need to say now. Tachibana, you're a strong woman. You're a brave, virtuous woman who deserves utmost respect. However, no matter how strong they may be, no one's invincible. I highly doubt anyone could go on living while hiding all their pain and weakness. So at the very least, isn't it okay to let yourself show some of that weakness to your comrades? Kazumi gasped. Those words. Oh, so I really did get too full of myself, didn't I? No, I'm pretty sure that's something you've said to the letter before. No. Kazumi said that and touched Watase's arm. I believe it's just as you say. And to be honest, I'm very happy to hear you say that. Kazumi then gave him a faint smile. It was a smile without the slightest hint of gloom in it, a smile Watase had never seen before. I see. Do you see, Watase? Do you really? Watase felt a tinge of relief flood over him, and he let go of Kazumi. Kazumi's face then grew stern to hide the shades of red forming on her cheeks. Now then, we have been wasting too much time on my account. Let us hurry on over to the neuroscience laboratory. Kazumi said that and broke off into a dash. Wanase tried to follow her, but then June ran up to him and gave him a pat on the back. Huh, what's wrong? Did you think that was too cheesy or something? No, that was muy bueno. You sure are manly. Wanase returned her smile, then ran off together with June. That took 2 minutes? That took way more than 2 minutes. Okay, so either Watase hates the guy in Kazumi's locket because that's her boyfriend, or that's himself. And I'm not sure which one it's going to be. But we're going to save, and I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'll be back very shortly. Alright, back. Nope, wait, hang on. Alright, now I'm back. Let me bring chat back up. Area 5, Outer Ring, B2, Neuroscience Laboratory. Watase, Kazumi, and June filed into the room. Anna and Ukita were not far behind, but no one had seen Yuri. I checked B2, but I didn't find her. Me neither. So we've all really lost sight of her, huh? The gloomy look on Kazumi's face as she said that led Watase to bow his head. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. None of us had any more luck than you did. Ukita suddenly spoke up when he heard June's comment. It's not his fault? I wonder about that. Oh? Oh? Okay. Oh, do I want to max it out or minimize it or have it be medium? Man, where is this going to go? We've got 6 hours left before we're let loose. But the radiation is already blasting us in almost every area. We're either at or exceeding the safe limits in almost every area. We've got 6 hours left that we need to survive through. I'm going to object to what Ukita's saying. It's not his fault. I wonder about that. Huh? This has been bothering me for a while now, but Yuri always acted as if she were afraid of you, did she not? Watase found himself unconsciously raising his voice. Ukita's observation had hit too close to home. Hey, old man, what's that supposed to mean? I mean what I said. I trust you recall that Yuri vanished once when we were searching Area 3? What's that got to do with anything? I've suspected this whole time that Yuri was in fact trying to run away from you. What? Mr. Ukita, what makes you think that? Wait, did none of you notice it? Yuri would always twitch suddenly and tremble whenever Captain Kasasagi talked to her, did she not? Kazumi and June's faces froze over. Well, yeah, she did, but... It is not uncommon for survivors in disaster sites to be extremely frightened. In fact, this is one of the worst disaster sites I've ever seen, so a reaction like that is fairly normal. I do not mind if that is the way you wish to interpret it. But what about you, Captain Kasasagi? Do you yourself have any clues as to what could have caused such behavior? No. His voice lacked any strength. Watase had no basis on which to deny Ukita's suspicions. As for why, it was because he didn't remember anything from before he'd woken up. Did I do something horrible to Yuri? Before I lost my memories? Well, Captain Kasasagi, are you absolutely sure that you have no possible clues to her behavior? In fact, why did you go to the basement in the first place? How did you lose your memories? How would I know? Well, amnesia caused by external trauma normally fades away with the progression of time. Yet you show no signs of recovery, regardless of how long it's been. Do you not find that strange? It's been like 3 hours, man. Ukita's questioning had turned into an all-out interrogation. June chose that moment to cut in. Mr. Ukita, are you implying something? I am. It is my belief that Captain Kasasagi may be lying about having amnesia. Everyone gasped at that declaration. That's impossible. Why would he ever need to lie about something like that? I believe that it's because he's trying to hide something. No, if I'm to be completely honest, I've suspected that from the very beginning. What? Oh, are you going to tell us what happened when I locked you in that place? You took my security card from me a few hours ago. As a result, I was unable to leave Area 3. But now that I think about it, that action by itself is considerably strange. Why would you need to steal a security card? Was it because you wanted to do something that you kept secret from us staff members? What would that something even be? I'm going to keep my self-esteem value high. I would have no way of knowing that, of course, but I cannot help but wonder if it has something to do with the reason Yuri was so terrified. And there have been multiple murders on top of all that, so it is only natural to be suspicious, no? I've done nothing wrong, even without my memories. Then go ahead and prove your innocence. How would I do that? Don't be ridiculous. You're asking the impossible. How the hell is anyone supposed to prove that they have amnesia? Isn't that right, guys? Wanase said that and turned to Kazumi and the others. Yes, but... Kazumi shut her mouth before she could continue. But it really is odd that you can't remember anything. June looked at Watase for a moment with a flicker of suspicion. Anna didn't say a thing. You can't be serious. Watase's feet started to shake when he saw their reactions. Do you understand now, Captain Kasasagi? It isn't just Yuri. Everyone is scared. But I really... What's that? Then are you saying you can explain your actions from before you lost your memories? No! I'm not saying that. Watase groaned. He was bitter that he had no comeback to that. Frustrated that he couldn't remember anything. And above all else, he desired from the bottom of his heart to know what he had indeed been doing. Damn it, what in the world was I doing? What the hell was I... But just as Watase thought this, light burst open in his head. Watase instinctively held his head. What is it? Captain? What's wrong? The rest of the group called out to Watase, but their voices sounded distant to him. Okay. If I get a flashback, he gets a memory back. This is going to come off as extremely convenient timing to these guys, and that'll only make me more suspicious. His sense of time simultaneously lost all normality. As if every second were as long as an eternity, and an eternity was as short as a second. His vision grew disoriented and was dyed black. He heard a voice echo through the darkness. Captain, we've discovered survivors in the basement. Get down here right away. Watase sprung off into a run when he heard these voices. There was a watch right in his line of sight. The hands pointed to 6:42. And right after his memory of seeing the time... Huh? A hazy scene emerged from the darkness. It was of something that had happened right in Labo. Watase was running through some connecting passageway. What the hell is this? There were 2 men in protection suits running along with him. Captain, over here. I heard footsteps coming from this way. Are these Dojima and Hiyama? Their voices were muffled, so he had a hard time making out what they were saying. His field of vision was also foggy. It was then that Watase finally realized it. I get it. I'm also wearing a protection suit. Before long... He heard a boy's voice through his protection suit. Oh, hey, it's the kids. Watase could see a boy and some girls standing further down the hallway. It's a rescue squad. The boy shouted that as soon as he saw Watase and the others. They must have gotten a report and came to rescue us. We're saved! What did I do to scare these kids off? Hey there! Please save us! One of the girls jumped for joy and waved at Watase and the others. Next to her was one other person, a blonde-haired girl. Survivors! Watase and the others ran up to them. You kids sure as heck aren't staff members. What are you doing down here? We happened to be down here by coincidence and got caught up in all this. That is not an answer, boy. Is there anyone else with you? No, just the 3 of us. I've forgotten your name. What are your names? Convenient. He's Natsuhiko, and I'm Mashiro, and this one's Salyu. Salyu? A nickname. Comes from Luis Yui Sanamiya. I see. Watase checked the time as he said this. The watch's hands were pointing to 6:52. The scenery in front of him swayed and vanished at that moment. And then images flashed by one after another. This is... They were sights Watase had seen just a few hours ago. Fragments of his lost memories. There was AD in a place like this? There was this much AD being kept inside the facility too? Who are you? I'm a rescue worker. I'm here to save you. Here, take this. It's medicine. No, you can't be that way. You'll be in danger if you don't take this. Please, don't struggle. Was she scared of us? Was she scared of me because I forced her to take a shot? Ugh, she got away. Where could she have gone? Area N? There's a meltdown going on just up ahead. My head. Ah! And with his scream as the finale, the images shattered and faded away. Ah! Watase screamed again as he returns to reality. Captain! Captain, please calm down! Kazumi's voice brought him back to his senses. He realized that he was now back where he'd started, the neuroscience laboratory. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay. No, you're not. Watase took a deep breath, then spoke. More importantly, I just remembered. Huh? Wait, does that mean... My memory came back. What? Ukita's eyes widened. Impossible. Your memories just came back all at once? No, only a few of them, but still. Hold on, what are you trying to say? Nothing really, but I may have remembered exactly what I need to prove my innocence. What? Watase then slowly began to talk. I'll go through everything in order. The reason I went to the basement was because Dojima and Hiyama called for me. Yes, I think they called me over the radio and told me that there were survivors in the basement. When was this? Let me think. Oh, right, it was at 6:42 a.m. 6:42 a.m.? Are you absolutely sure about that? Yeah, my watch was on the outside of my protection suit for some reason. Yeah. He checked his watch at that time. The hands were pointed to exactly 6:42. There was no mistake about that. There was something about that part that felt slightly off to him, but he decided to trust his memories. I then went to Area 2, where I found Natsuhiko, Mashiro, and Salyu. Salyu? It's Luis Yui Sanamiya's nickname. I think she said it came from her full name somehow. Yeah, Sa, L, it's last name, and then first name and middle name, in the Japanese fashion. His memories of that time were gradually growing clearer and clearer. He was sure that was the name that Natsuhiko and Mashiro had called her by. It's just like he says. Mr. Tenkawa and Miss Toba did call her by that name. Enna added that. Kazumi then spoke as if she'd also remembered something. Come to think of it, we spotted those survivors. In the basement of Area 2, right? Really? I can't be sure, but the times almost match up. The captain and the others may not have been too far from us when we were putting out those fires. Yeah, maybe you're right. Watase nodded, then continued. Yeah, him only recalling the memories that clear him is even more suspicious, I agree. Anyway, Dojima, Hiyama, and I took Natsuhiko and the others under our protection and continued rescue efforts. But I couldn't stay in the basement forever. I felt I had to get back to the surface soon. So I left Natsuhiko and the others in Dojima and Hiyama's care and was heading back for the surface by myself, when I suddenly came across Yuri. What happened after that? I took her under my protection and tried to bring her up to the surface with me. But she started struggling when I tried to inject her with some AD, and then she ran off. Struggling? Why? Beats the fuck out of me, Anna. She's been opposed to taking the AD all along. That's something I didn't know even back then. Silence hung in the air for a moment, but then June's voice broke it apart. But now that I think about it, Yuri always was against being injected with AD. True, it was the same regardless of whether the captain or I tried to do it. That's right. Then when I was starting to get confused over Yuri's rejections, she managed to break free of my grasp and run away. I went around looking for her immediately. I then ended up near Area N. But then my head just started hurting like crazy. A headache? Could that have been from radiation damage? I don't know. It felt like my head had received some sort of shock. Maybe someone hit me. But who did it? Well, it wasn't Ukita. The timing doesn't line up. Please be clear. This is the part that really matters. I'm sorry, I really don't know. Watase unintentionally raised his voice, putting Enna into a startled silence. Though my memory is back, that part is extremely fragmented. I don't remember when it was or much of the details. But I can say this, and this alone with clear confidence. Watase looked square at everyone. I tried to save Yuri. You may not believe me, but that fact's never changed, not even now. And with that, Watase's long story came to an end. It wasn't long before Ukita snorted. Such unreliable memories, wouldn't you agree? Can you prove everything you've just told us is true? No, Ukita, we've been over this. As soon as Ukita said that, one of Watase's memories came back to mind. There was AD in a place like this? There was this much AD being kept inside the facility too? Yeah, I can. What? I found a large stock of AD in the facility before I lost my memories. Do you remember what room? What? Where? It was... His memory became clearer in the blink of an eye. The fragmented images linked together like pieces of a puzzle to reveal a familiar location to Watase. This very room! Right, it was in Area 5's inner ring on B2. How did you get there, Watase? Oh, right. You could go freely before the lockdown. That's the contaminated zone you and I searched earlier. Yeah, it was in the room where we found those 5 AD, Mrs. Miyoko Tenkawa's office. We didn't see it, but there's still a shitload of AD in that room. It should be in one of the desk drawers. He was nigh certain of that. Well, that would solve a lot of problems. There was no way he could have remembered such a vivid memory incorrectly. If that AD's still there now, then that should prove I was telling the truth. Ukita shut up at Watase's declaration. Jun and Kazumi quickly spoke up. I'll go check it out. I'm coming too. They then rushed out of the neuroscience laboratory. And then, just a few minutes later, Kazumi and Jun returned, their arms full of medical boxes. Hell yeah! This should cover us for a few hours at least. Captain, they really were in that room. How much did you find? Try not to get surprised, but there were 30 AD among 6 medical boxes. That's exactly enough to get us through the rest of the day. Unless we find the kids. 30? That's incredible! Everyone's eyes widened at that piece of news. Watase was also surprised, but found himself breaking out into a genuine smile. That was much more AD than he'd been expecting. 30 ampules? Seriously? That's 30 hours worth of AD. Oh wait, no. Divided between 6 of us, that's 5 hours. No, that's actually how much we need. That's actually how much we need, because we're in the hour that is 6 hours to finish, and we've got AD that's been used on us, to the end of this hour. So there'll be 5 hours after that. 5 hours for each of the 6 of us is exactly enough. Yes, now we don't have to worry about running out of AD for the time being. Yeah, and it also proves that the captain was telling the truth. Isn't that right, Mr. Ukita? Ukita looked away awkwardly. The children might be immune to radiation, yeah. Do you believe me now, old man? I never once intended to hurt Yuri, to say the least of everyone else. If I really were a bad person, then I would have kept that AD hidden without telling you guys about it, right? But instead, I was honest and let everyone know. Please, trust me. As soon as Watase's earnest pleas reached Ukita's ears, the latter finally started talking with a bitter tone in his voice. I suppose it's just as you say. Okay, yes, we will trust June. It felt like there was still a glimmer of doubt in his eyes, but as long as he understands, then that's all I need. June then walked over to Watase. Captain, sorry I didn't believe you right away. Watase saw guilt filling June's face. Thus, he made his best effort to speak to her as cheerfully as possible. Nah, don't worry. It was no big deal. But even though it was just for a sec, I still doubted that you actually had amnesia. He may have indeed looked guilty from another's perspective. Yeah, looked guilty as fuck. Maybe it'd be best if I avoided doing anything that made me look suspicious to the others from now on. Watase thought that as Kazumi and the others spoke. I believed you. You should be scolding Moribe. Really? I'll be honest. I thought the whole amnesia thing was bullshit from the beginning. Oh, come on, Teach. I see you're as blunt as always. Well, it was more like I was on the fence about the issue. But it looks like you were telling the truth, that you really did get some of your memory back. Why don't you just think of this as a rare and valuable experience? Hey, positive thinking has its limits, you know. But it is indeed a valuable experience. The group laughed slightly at those words, except for Ukita, who was completely embarrassed. It was more of a fake laugh, intended to try to make them all forget about the events of the last few minutes, but it still relieved Watase. Their escape route had been cut off, another body had been found, and they'd lost Yuri on top of all that. Everyone was starting to get on edge, and their exhaustion was just piling up. So it was pretty much inevitable that a few arguments would pop up. That's right, I shouldn't worry about it. Everyone falling to pieces would be the worst possible situation at a time like this. And besides, the search isn't over yet. As a result, Watase forced himself to end his train of thought on the whole matter right then and there. Watase then quickly changed the topic, and quick-saved. Okay, now that we've got my story cleared up, there's something more important we need to discuss. You're talking about Miss Yuri, aren't you? Yeah, it's far too dangerous for her to be wandering around this huge facility. Everyone nodded and focused on the conversation. And there's also Natsuhiko and the others to worry about, too. We've looked all over Labo and still haven't found them. Then either they really are moving around, or we missed them somewhere. They're probably moving around. Perhaps we should revise our search strategy. Ukita quietly spoke after he heard Eda say this. Isn't locating AD still essential? Huh? Have you not noticed? Just because we obtained 30 AD does not mean we have enough. With the lift out of commission, our only hope is to wait for the lockdown to end. But we need to inject ourselves with 5 more doses of AD to survive until then. I see. So when you add Yuri and those 3 high schoolers into the mix, that makes 9 of us in total. Then we can only survive another 3 hours? Watase and the others gasped as that reality hit them. Well, the kids either are immune to radiation or they found a shit ton of AD. They're either fine or dead. Like, at this point, they're either fine or dead. There's really no in between. So I don't think we need to worry about them too much, except to locate them. Watase and the others gasped as that reality hit them. Indeed, not everyone would survive if the AD they had here was all that was left. It's so comical that the drama bars cut off the top of Ukita's head. Or they mutated into gun zombies. That's also a possibility. It'd be a different story if we just stole someone else's AD before they could take it, though. Horror at what he just thought immediately hit Watase in full force. It felt like a life and death game of musical chairs would inevitably break out at this rate. We don't have enough AD for 9 people, so will it really come down to that? Oh, this is a big one. Okay, let's max everybody's dating sim values. And see what happens. Set everyone's senses to their maximum values. Believers will be saved. That's a hell of an achievement title. If they tried to use the 30 ampules of AD to survive for the remaining 5 hours, then it'd be 30 ampules divided by 5 hours, enough for 6 people. Only 6 could survive. The other 3 would be doomed to their fate. 9 minus 3 equals 6. Yes, that's how arithmetic works. Wanase worked out that sinister formula in his head, after much thinking, after much straining his brain. No, I mustn't think about that. Wanase frantically dismissed the thought that had filled his mind for a second. I need to be thinking of a way where everyone can survive. Wanase thought that as he checked his Procyon. The reading said 4531 MSV. Oh, we gotta move, guys. If the contamination keeps on increasing at this rate, the whole facility may eventually be filled with over 8,000 MSV. If that happens, then it'll be the same as not having any AD at all, huh? This is bad. What should we do? There are 4 possible ways we can go about this. Kazumi said that, then looked everyone dead in the eye. 1. Prioritize finding an escape route. 2. Look for an escape route while searching for all the survivors, including Miss Yuri and AD. 3. Look for the damaged portions of the gates and repair them in order to suppress the rate of contamination. How would we do that? 4. Look for everything. An escape route, AD, the damaged gates, and the survivors, including Miss Yuri. By choosing which path to take, we may be deciding our own doom. Everyone gulped. Wanase then answered in a low voice. First of all, number 4's plan of searching for everything is unrealistic. I feel like it wouldn't yield any results, what with everything we'd have to do. Indeed. And number 3, the idea to repair the damaged parts of the gates to suppress the rate of contamination is also out of the question. Yeah, there's no way to do that. I've stated this before, but I do not believe that emergency repairs would be enough to hold back the contamination. Then that leaves number 1 and number 2. Should we put priority on finding an escape route, or searching for an escape route while looking for the survivors in AD? Isn't that obvious? We go with number 2. We don't know if another escape route actually exists, but Mr. Tenkawa and the others are definitely down here. I'm with you on that one. There's just too big of a risk in searching only for an escape route. I agree, and besides, Yuri shouldn't have any ID on her, so we need to find her as soon as possible. Everyone nodded gravely at that suggestion. Then we've decided to look for an escape route as we search for Miss Yuri, the other survivors, and AD, by process of elimination. Is everyone all right with that? I'm good with that. And with that, everyone was on the same page. Wanase quickly moved on to the next agenda. Then let's search through Labo one more time. Leave no stone unturned. Should we search in the same direction as last time, or would it be better to go the other way around? You know what? Yeah, let's go in reverse. Maybe we'll catch them on our way around. But that wouldn't be effective. Besides, there's a chance we'll just miss each other again. Then let's split into 2 teams. One that searches the areas clockwise, and one other that searches them counterclockwise. How's that sound? I see. Now we can split up into smaller teams without anything to worry about, now that the fires are out. That also lowers our chances of missing the survivors. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, we found another Procyon in Area 6. We can use this to split up into 3 teams. But is that feasible? Somebody's going alone if it's 3 teams. 3 teams, huh? But that would mean someone would have to search by themselves if we did that. This is similar to the first choice of the stream. Pick one of them. Though I'll say at this juncture, don't do Enna. Am I picking who to go with, or who to send off on their own? Who to go with? Okay. I think I'm going with June. Well, June is fun. I like June a lot. But there's some story with Kazumi that I might be able to unlock more parts of. June is my favorite character in the game. And we've been a good team all throughout. I'll go with June. We cannot risk the danger of one of us getting lost. We should stick with two teams. Wanase mulled over the situation once he heard Kazumi's reasoning. Yeah, we're only searching in two directions anyway. Then how should we split up the teams? He then quickly came to a conclusion. Moribe, old man, you good with teaming up with me? Oh, I don't get solo, June. Come on. Sure, I don't particularly have anything against it. There was a discerning look in Ukita's eyes as he said that. I knew it. The old man really does still doubt me. He'd been hoping that June's cheerfulness would have a positive influence on Ukita, but it didn't look that way. Let's work hard together, Mr. Ukita. Yes, looking forward to working with you. It seemed there were no problems between June and Ukita for the time being. Then that means me and Miss Tachibana will be on the other team. How are we going to go about searching? I have an idea about that. Kazumi took out her PDA and began explaining. We're currently in Area 5, so one team will head in the direction of Area 4, while the other will head in the direction of Area 6. Then where will we rendezvous? There's a chance we'll miss each other, so why don't we use this laboratory as the meeting point? So, make a full circuit of the place? Alright. Or we should take June to disaster response prom. I believe that we should set off again if we lap around the facility and still haven't found the survivors. If something unexpected happens, or if you yield no results after having searched for a whole hour, come back here for the time being. Sounds good. That way we won't have to worry about getting separated. What about the AD? Should we take it all with us? June was talking about the 30 AD they just found. It'll get stolen if we leave it behind. No, it'd be best to leave them here. We'll be in real trouble if any of them break for whatever reason after all. That's a fair point. And there's also a chance the survivors will come here. Then they can get some AD at the very least. Then let's have everyone carry 2 ampules each for 2 hours worth. Kazumi said that, then gave the rest of the group 2 AD for each member. Oh, while we're on it, I have another idea, if you don't mind. Anna took a pen and paper lying around the room, then started writing on it. Dear Mr. Tenkawa, Miss Toma, and Miss Sanamiya, looks like we all got caught up in the same disaster today, huh? I've been looking for you guys this whole time, but we haven't been having any luck. So, if you happen to find this note, I ask that you please stay right where you are. What you see here is a radiation exposure inhibitor known as AD. It's a drug we've been using to protect ourselves from the radiation. It'll protect you for an hour or so, as long as you inject it into a vein. Keep injecting yourselves with it, and wait in this room for help to come, okay? I'm looking forward to seeing you all alive and well. From Miss Anna. She wrote that charming little letter in cute handwriting. Well, it'll lower our chances of just missing them if we post this on the door. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay then, now let's get on with splitting up the equipment. The group nodded, then split up the gear they'd acquired so far. First, there was the security cards. Watase held on to the level N card they'd found a short while ago. Kazumi, Jun, Ena, and Ukita each took a level 6 card. Watase's team also took 2 of the Procyon, while Kazumi's team took the 3rd. Then we'll be heading toward Area 6, so you guys go towards Area 4. Roger. Miss Tsubakiyama, let's go. Don't kill her, Ena. I'll be very cross with you. Got it. Ena posted the note she'd written on the door, then left the room with Kazumi. Using what? Was there tape in here? Was there a magnet? Then we should get going too, right? Yeah. Indeed. Ukita's voice seemed a bit harsh, just as Watase had expected. I hope I can clear up this misunderstanding with him, but I'm not counting on it. Watase left the room with Jun and Ukita as he kept those tiny fears in his heart. The team took a quick look through Area 5 just to be safe, then moved on to the factory. The large, messy room was as still as a grave. No one here from what I can see. But there's also a possibility that Yuri went running this way. Yeah, we've also got to find anything that can help us locate an escape route. Time's a-wasting, so let's all search quickly. It was just as Jun said. Just because they'd found a ton of AD didn't change the fact they were short on time. We need to be more careful to make sure we don't waste any time from this point onwards. As he thought to himself, Watase finally entered the factory. Just then, something caught his eye. It was the security gate in the corner. Behind it was that small room with the emergency lift, the one where they'd found the body of that girl. Who? Hey, Captain, something wrong? Oh, well, it's just about that cargo lift. I was wondering if there was any way we could still use it to get out of here. Huh? But the control panel's totally busted, right? But I was just wondering if maybe we could repair it and use it to get to the surface. That sound feasible, old man? I don't feel confident enough to pull that off. Now that he mentioned it, Ukita had failed to repair that security slot earlier. But this is the only escape route we know about, so I think it's still worth a try, wouldn't you say? True. I'm good at handiwork, so maybe it'll just be a simple repair job. I see. Then let's leave this up to Moribe. Oh no, I don't get to keep June. Oh, come on. Then it's settled. Let's go, guys. The 3 then headed off to the cargo lift room together. The girl's body was still there, exactly the way they'd left it. They propped it back up after the CPR, apparently. Time to move her. The team looked at her and offered a silent prayer, then walked up to the control panel. Okay then, let's see if I can fix this sucker. June took her army knife out and immediately electrocuted herself. Then I'll go check the shaft while you're doing that. Sound good? What do you mean? Maybe there's a ladder or something in there we can use to climb up the shaft. You know, like the other elevators. Oh, I get it. What should I do? I'm sorry, but I'd like you to search the factory itself. I know you just searched it a little while ago, but let's just try to play it safe. Very well. Ukita then left the room. Okay then, ready to go to work? Yeah. Watase nodded and ran over to the lift doors. He placed his hands on the slide between them and put all his might into his arms. Ugh. He then tried to open it up. Okay. Do I put my own self-esteem high and June's medium? And my trust in June medium? Or do I trust us both? Huh. Excuse me. I'm going to leave them both high. He then tried to open it up. But unlike the normal elevator doors, these ones didn't budge an inch. Looks like it's locked. But we'll be able to open them if I fix the control panel. I'll be doing the repairs. How about you help Mr. Ukita out? No, hold on. Then why don't I take over the repairs instead? Oh, that's a mistake. I made a mistake. Huh? You've got amnesia. Can you really do that? Only one way to find out. Maybe I've still got my muscle memory. That doesn't sound very reliable, but okay then. I'll stand here and let you try for a while. I'm about to get electrocuted, aren't I? Doesn't sound like you have much faith in me, huh? Well, just you watch. Wanase nodded and took the army knife from June. But after fiddling around with the control panel for about 3 minutes, Wanase concluded that it didn't seem like he could repair it at all. Nope, I don't have a clue how to do this. He could tell that some parts weren't wired properly, but he hadn't the slightest idea how to repair them. Didn't I tell you? I'm not trying to be rude, but that was a waste of time. Just leave this to me and go help Mr. Ukita. I just wasted some time. Guess that's all I can do for now, okay? Trust in June. I'll call you over when I'm done, so just wait a bit, okay? Wanase nodded and was about to leave the room when the body of the girl crossed his line of sight. A thought suddenly crossed his head, and so he called out to June. Moribe. Huh? Are you sure you'll be okay in here all by yourself? Huh? What do you mean by that? June suddenly gulped before she could finish. It seemed she'd only just now remembered she was alone with a body. Every time you see a body, you get really down, so... June's face froze over at Watase's comment. But she quickly shook her head as if to wipe that away. Yeah, you're right. I really am weak, huh? No, that's a fairly normal reaction for somebody to have to a dead child. Makes me remember Dojima and Hiyama. You shouldn't be so down on yourself. Anyone would be that way after seeing something like that. June laughed slightly. You sure don't look that way. You look totally fine. I don't think I'd say that. But you've seen just as many bodies as we have. You don't show any sorrow and just keep leading us on. You really are way stronger than I am, even without memories. I'm sorry for looking down on you when this whole thing began. You really are our captain, amnesia or not. Wanase couldn't help but let his true feelings out when he saw June look so guilty. You've got it all wrong. Huh? I just don't feel sad, that's all. Dojima and Hiyama died so cruelly, but it just doesn't feel real to me at all. More like something that happened in a TV show. Oh, this is the wrong tack to take, Wanase. So I have no right at all to be called strong. Maybe I just don't understand the value of life very well to begin with. June then cut in before Watase could say any more. But you still tried to save Yuri, remember? Huh? There's no way in hell someone who didn't understand the value of life would be so desperate about trying to save someone. The only reason you're not sad is just because you lost your memories and forgot about Dojima and Hiyama, right? But both you and Tachibana were practically grieving on the spot when you saw this girl, didn't you? Yet I didn't, so maybe I really don't. When Watase looked over at the girl's body, June also glanced at the girl for a second. Well, I don't think it was as hard on me as it was on the lieutenant, but I'm sure it's because this girl kind of looks like Nagisa. Watase felt extreme surprise when he heard that. Nagisa was Kazumi's little sister, who'd passed away almost 10 years ago. I learned this half an hour ago, game. You don't need to remind me. So for June to say that they looked alike meant that... Oh, okay, it wasn't reminding me. It was saying, it was leading into... She knew Nagisa as a child. Moribe, was that Nagisa an acquaintance of yours? An acquaintance? Not even close. She was my best friend. Watase gasped. Lots of gasping in this game in situations that don't really warrant it. June continued with a depressed frown. Actually, she was more like a little sister than a best friend. There was a bit of a gap in our ages, you see. The lieutenant was like my older sister, while Nagisa was like my little sister. The three of us felt like family. So Nagisa had a huge influence on both me and the lieutenant. When I look at the girl, it just reminds me of Nagisa's face at her funeral all those years ago. Then I really should stay here, shouldn't I? Just because you're a rescue worker doesn't mean you have to always keep your heart hardened for as long as you live, right? Watase could see a pondering look pass by June's face for a moment, but her eyes soon lit up. Captain, thanks for being so considerate of me. But I wouldn't be able to call myself a rescue worker anymore if I accepted your offer. Hurry, go on and help Mr. Ukita. I'll be okay. Watase was still worried, but he couldn't deny June of her determination. So he made up his mind. All right, but call for me right away if something happens. Roger. And with that typical exchange between them, Watase left the room. He left the room and immediately bumped into Ukita. This close-up of him. He soon found Ukita in the factory. The latter flinched when he noticed Watase. What's wrong? How'd the inspection of the shaft go? I couldn't open the doors, so I came to help you search the place. I see. Ukita looked away in what appeared to be irritation. What's his problem? Is he still bothered by our argument earlier? I mean, evidently. That thought worried Watase. He searched the factory, trying to give Ukita some space. The two then silently searched the factory for a while, only for that silence to be abruptly broken by the echo of June's voice. Captain, Mr. Ukita! I failed! The pair looked to find June running over to them from the cargo lift room. What's up? Are you done fixing the lift? Sorry, it was a no-go. I just don't have enough parts to fix it. What do you mean? The parts I need are just gone, like the internal wiring was ripped out or something. It would take a lot of time and effort just to fix it. I see. Whoever broke it sure thought things through, that's for sure. So what now? We could try taking apart the nearby machines to whip up the right wiring or parts for something like this, but... would that take a while? I'll be honest, I have no clue how long that'd take. I don't know if we have the right kind of parts on hand. Ukita then picked that moment to cut in. No, I believe it'd be better for us to go find the survivors first, if our other option is betting on an admittedly unstable factor. What to do? Honestly, I do think the old man's point is valid. Yeah, it'd be a whole other story if this were a regular dispatch, but here, the longer it takes for us to find them, the more the survivors' cumulative exposure increases. Okay, then let's consider the whole lift thing again after we found the survivors. Yeah, okay, now that we're done searching the factory, let's move on to the inner ring. Roger. The team then headed for the inner ring. Area 6, Inner Ring, B2. It had been nearly an hour since they last searched this place. Let's split up and search B1 and B2 to make sure we don't miss the survivors by accident. Ukita, do you have enough upper body strength to climb a rope? Roger that. Then I'll search B1. The emergency staircase there was out of commission, but June would probably have no problem climbing the rope in the stairwell. Yeah, what do you mean probably? She did it earlier, just fine. Thanks. I'll leave that to you. No prob. Just leave it to me. June immediately headed for the stairwell. Excuse me. Then we should start our search as well. Yeah. Watase and Ukita then began looking through B2. But seeing as how it hadn't been long since Watase last searched the area, nothing in particular stuck out. June soon came back from B1. Captain, you find anything? Sauve. Alright, what are the choices here? Watase and June. Watase and June. Okay. What context is this going to be? What confidence am I trying to project here? I'm going to leave them both high. Nothing. How about you? Nada. I searched as hard as I could since it was my first time there and all, but no luck. Geez, where the heck could Natsuhiko and the others be? June looked a little down. Maybe I should have helped you search B1 too? Huh. Hey, are you saying you don't trust me on my own? No, I didn't mean that at all. It's just... Alright, calm down already, you two. We have more important things to do, like continuing the search, do we not? Yeah, okay then. We're done searching this area. Let's move on. Watase's team then headed on over towards Area 1 to continue the search. Da-da. Been a while since we've been here. Excuse me. Alright, I need a minute to rest my voice. I'll be right back. Alright, back. Area 1, Inner Ring, B2. They had returned to the place where Watase had first woken up. They split up again and searched the floor, but nothing of value on this floor either, huh? Then let's head down to B1 this time. Watase suddenly picked up a faint sound before he could finish. Is it someone crying? Huh? Is something the matter? No, I just thought I heard someone's footsteps or something. Huh? From where? Watase tried to make out where he'd heard the footsteps. I can't be sure about this, but I think they came from the stairwell. Think it's one of the survivors? Or the gun zombie? No, it could be Miss Tachibana and Miss Tsubakiyama for all we know. I don't know, but we'd better take a look. The team ran for the stairwell in high spirits. But there was no sign of anyone there. The fireproof door on B1 was wide open. The room was dimly illuminated by the light leaking in through that opening. There was no one to be found at the top of the stairs or behind the shadows of the staircase. No one's here? Maybe I was just imagining things. Excuse me. You don't know that for sure. Maybe they went up. The team ascended the staircase as they talked, with Watase in the front, Ukita in the middle, and June in the back. But at that moment, they heard a sound cutting through the air above them. Oh, is it going to collapse? Watase looked up in surprise. He then saw something falling down from the top of the stairwell. Captain, look out! June screamed. What? Watase suddenly felt someone shove him from behind, causing him to fall forward. And merely a second later, he heard a heavy thud coming from the rear. Ah! Oh no, June! Watase turned around in shock to see a mysterious object hit June's back. It was a cluster of concrete, with several thin reinforcing bars sticking out of it. Oh no! Has she been stabbed? June then staggered. Ah! Watase tried to grab her, but it was too late. Okay, we're in a bad end. June fell down the stairs, only stopping at B2's landing. Moribe! Are you all right? Watase and Ukita hurried down the stairs, their faces pale. Ugh. June groaned faintly. She had apparently lost consciousness. Okay, so she's okay-ish. Watase checked her and soon found blood oozing from her back. Could be worse. She'd been impaled on one of the reinforced bars from the debris. Ugh! Damn it, what the hell just happened? Watase looked upstairs. But with all the darkness filling the stairwell, he couldn't spot anyone. Did the ceiling collapse again? It's too dangerous here, old man. Let's get Moribe to a safe place for now. Got it. Watase carried June on his back and ran out of the stairwell. Oh, okay. That was supposed to happen. All right. All right, let's save. Okay, my throat's kind of scratchy, and this seems like a good stopping point. Why don't we end a little early? Because we've got more tomorrow. The chapter break doesn't technically mean you're safe if you recall one of the bad ends you got. Oh, that's true. Oh, that's true. This is a good spot to stop? Yeah. Alright, well, the plot thinkens. Man, we recalled that stuff at a very convenient time. I'm worried about June. I'm worried about June really badly. But whenever somebody gets seriously injured in this game, it says to me that I'm headed for a game over. Yeah. Alright. In that case, we're going to end here. I'll read my schedule and get off. Before I do, I would like to plug a couple of things. First, if you're watching on Twitch, I have a YouTube channel where I upload all my streams at Loreweaver on YouTube, or you can find it with the !YT command in Twitch chat. I upload everything I do there. Anything from the last 7 or 8 years is on there. Look through the playlist. You'll find a playthrough you like, I'm sure of it. If you're watching on YouTube, I stream live on Twitch almost every day at 1 p.m. EST. Twitch.tv/Loreweaver15. It's also in the description of the YouTube video. I would also like to plug my Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/LoreweaverStreams, or you can get the link either in the description of the YouTube video or with the !Patreon command in Twitch chat. I make my living off of Patreon. It's my sole source of income, and I make enough to pay my rent and my bills, but I don't really make much beyond that. And I'd really like to have something for emergencies, for medical emergencies, for if I need to replace stuff, you know, the works. So if you could go to my Patreon and pledge $1 a month or $1 per stream or anything in between, pledge a bunch per stream if you really want to change my life, I would be grateful. I'm grateful to everybody who pledges because you're the reason I can do this strange, silly job for a living. If it weren't for you, I'd still be a burger flipper or a telemarketer or whatever, and that would be hell. So, thank you. As for the schedule, the upcoming week's schedule, tomorrow we'll be playing more Root Double Before Crime After Days for this patron. Wednesday we'll be playing The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for a patron. Thursday we'll be playing Crosscode for a patron. Friday there will be no stream because I'm recording a podcast episode with Teddy and Love. Saturday will of course be our weekly Final Fantasy XIV stream, and then Sunday and next Monday I have blocked out for the Pokemon Scarlet DLC. For the epilogue they're releasing. My guess is that I'll finish it on the first day, and then that second day we'll probably just play Paper Mario or whatever. You can also see the monthly schedule with the !Schedule command in Twitch chat. It's also linked in the description of the YouTube video. You can see everything that's on the schedule there. I update it every time I update the schedule in the Discord. Yeah, see what's coming up. There's going to be a bunch more Paper Mario on there shortly. I'm going to add that to the schedule today. So yeah, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time.